Hello everybody, how's it going?
Ooh, that was very sensual.
It was a little sensual. That was not the goal, but I wanted to be a little low-key today because what we're going to actually do, I kind of want to do rapid fire style because I want to get like 4 or 5 stories in that I don't know if it will happen quickly, but that's the plan because there's a few things going on. I want to mention them here. So timestamps down below. The very first thing we're going to hit on is kind of more in regards to Viv leaving Arsenal. You know, the emotional send-off that Viv had at Arsenal. I saw a video, somebody put in our comment section of 2 things happened. Viv was doing her speech. I hadn't seen the whole speech. There's a YouTube video that you can see Viv's whole speech. And 2 things interesting happened. Number 1 is before Viv goes out to make her speech, she's kind of standing there and you kind of see, I believe it's Steph Catley. She's kind of hugging, consoling Beth because Beth's really upset. She's losing her wifey and she's kind of hugging her and you can see that in the video. And then during Viv's speech, somebody yells out, "Jonas sucks," or "I hate Jonas," and the whole crowd like laughs and kind of goes crazy. And I don't know, I thought it was I kind of liked it.
That's absolutely wild and I love it, honestly.
Yeah, they made it known they weren't happy with Jonas. You know, overall sad, but happy at the same time, but sad. There was a lot of cute moments actually between Viv and Beth after the game.
A lot of cute moments. They hugged for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know, that hug looked long.
Very long hug. And then somebody actually they said, you know, the rumors are that Viv is going to Man City. Nothing's been, announced. There's nothing really happening on that front. But a couple of people said, what about just joining a London team? What about Tottenham? She'll be right there. Now, Spurs is not one of the top tier teams. However, something is to be said about going to a team and turning it into a top tier team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think Viv that's kind of in her mindset to go to a kind of a lower level team and say, I'm going to turn it around. Also, I saw some comments on Twitter. What about Viv going to Chelsea? You know, it's a whole new look now that Emma Hayes is leaving, and her going to Chelsea would be quite interesting. She would still live in London. And somebody goes, I'd rather die than see her in Chelsea blue.
Viv might think the same thing too.
Yeah, exactly. No. But like we said, there's been a lot of players where you play for your rival. Sometimes you play for the Red Sox, and sometimes then you go play for the Yankees.
Never heard of those teams.
No. So what about that? Also, going back to Jonas, we know Viv was not happy. And we know Viv wasn't happy for a few reasons. And the whole question was she not offered a contract because they know she wasn't going to accept? Or was she not offered a contract because they didn't want her because she was too injured? But something interesting came out. I saw this on TikTok. I'm going to read it. But some interesting tidbits came out about the severity of how unhappy Viv was.
She had not been happy for some time, says someone close to the team. Not with Jonas and not with the direction that the team was going. Edival was like milk boiling over. He would often fly into a rage out of nowhere. Another says that Mead was unhappy with the medical guidance. This would not be tailor-made for the rehabilitation of players.
So it sounds like, based on this source, that Jonas seems to have a temper, a rage, going into rage like boiled milk. I have an image of what that means. You know, when milk starts to boil, it goes fast. Maybe Viv was saying, hey, his rage is just, I don't want to play with someone who has rage like that. And also what she said about them, not giving her the correct medical guidance for her injury is kind of concerning because we didn't give you the medical guidance. Then we're not offering you a contract because you're not healthy. We didn't even give you the medical guidance to get you healthy. So it really sounds kind of cold-hearted. Like we said that word last week, and I really actually feel that. It sounds like Viv actually wasn't happy. But that goes back to the fact that we talked about last time. She wasn't happy. Did she really want to play there? That's the part I don't quite get. Maybe she gave the club an ultimatum. Either you get rid of Jonas or you get rid of me. We both cannot be here. Because I can't imagine them offering her a contract with all these things going on and her actually playing. and being happy. So that's the part where I'm kind of a little bit still torn. Did she give them an ultimatum? Would she have really signed back based on all these things that we know? Because talking about Jonas's rage again, we remember their sideline incidents, shall we say, and they weren't happy. And again, was it a push? Wasn't a push. Now, that's not the question here, but we had made a comment in last video saying we had kind of talked about Emma Hayes and the push that Emma Hayes gave to Jonas. And a few people left a comment saying, hey, trying to downplay what Emma Hayes did and pushed him and that moment she was the aggressor is wrong. So anything other than saying that she was wrong in that situation is also wrong. Emma should have never gotten physical. But Sarah and I were watching a WNBA game this weekend. We've been catching all the Fever games. And the coach of the Fever, I'm not even sure exactly what her name is. She goes up to one of the players on the Fever on the bench, and she starts pushing. Her name's Aliyah Boston. She starts pushing Aliyah Boston. I'm like, what's with these coaches pushing people?
I mean, nothing gets people more heated than sports and competition.
Yeah.
But also, you gotta chill and contain yourself.
Yeah, the moment I saw the coach push Aliyah Boston, I was thinking about the Jonas thing. The moment I saw it, I said, no one should be pushing anyone. No one should be touching anyone. And then some people said Aliyah Boston wasn't paying attention. That's why she pushed her. But still, it kind of got me all thinking about all these incidents at once. It's like, why are we pushing people?
I feel like my coach... my soccer coach / basketball coach, they've pushed me, but that was back in the day when you could throw people down and you think nothing of it.
Yeah. Exactly, back in the day.
Times have changed.
Yeah. So I did see that. But going back to Emma Hayes, I guess we'll go to this part. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this part, but Emma Hayes has officially released her first official roster for the U.S. Women's National Team camp for the next 2 games against the Republic of Korea. So she put her first official Emma Hayes roster out with some interesting inclusions and some interesting exclusions. Number one, I think people are saying Lynn Williams. Lynn Williams was not included on this roster. And people pointed out Alex Morgan was included on this roster, and Alex Morgan isn't quite fit. She hasn't played since she got injured at the Wave game. And so some people are saying, well, Lynn Williams has been killing it. She just scored. She's the all-time leading goal scorer for the NWSL now, if we all saw that at the Gotham game. Why not Lynn Williams? And some people, I saw this argument saying Lynn Williams to an Alex Morgan isn't an equal swap, that if Alex was included, it kind of didn't have anything to do with Lynn Williams, that equal swap. But some people, I did see this argument. Alex Morgan's already on the Olympic roster. Emma Hayes has already decided she has done enough, so she's going to be there. Basically. So she's going to include her because she wants Alex to be getting in the groove with the team. So it's not even a question. And also Jaedyn Shaw. That same argument was Jaedyn Shaw is not 100% injured. And why include her and not Lynn Williams? Again, maybe not the same swap for swap, but she's been injured. And I saw the argument. Jaedyn Shaw is on the team. You have to include her because she's on the team to get in the groove with the players. So it is kind of interesting. Some of the things we did see, obviously, we know Alyssa Neaher is injured.
Don't even talk about it.
Not happy, sad about that. If she is healthy, she's going, but she is not going to this camp. And then also on the defenders, Sam Staub was called in defenders. We have not seen that name in a very long time. Midfielders, Lily Johannes again was called. She didn't get any time for the last call-up she had for the games, so it should be interesting. And Hal Hirschfeld, obviously a new name, plays for Washington Spirit, young player. And then in the forwards, again, this is the one thing too. Crystal Dunn has been named as a forward.
I saw that and I was shook.
Yeah.
But she could probably play every position, including goalie.
Yeah.
Even though she's a little short, but she could do it.
She is amazing. She can play any position. Excited. I did see the argument, again, Crystal Dunn's going to the Olympics. She can play so many positions, not to have that versatility. Mm-hmm. She's a lock. Some people also make the argument, what you get with Lynn Williams, you either decide to put her in your formation or you don't, but not calling her. And it was her birthday when they didn't call her. How rude.
Only call her just because it is her birthday, okay? Yeah.
But exciting. So we'll see what happens with those games. Did everyone see that? The last thing we're going to kind of touch on is Arsenal's actually traveling to Australia to have it. I don't know if it's one game or two games. I'm actually not sure. There's a friendly in Australia on Friday. They're playing a game against the A-League All-Star squad. And it's a fun thing to have, Arsenal traveling to Australia. More than anything, it's kind of a promotion, money-making thing, I think a lot of people are saying. But it's so fun to see Arsenal going to another continent to play a game. They're actually we're not going to talk about in this video, but Arsenal and Chelsea are both coming to the United States to play a couple games at the end of August or in August.
Yes.
So it's always fun. But a lot of people are saying, why are they doing these matches now? Two reasons. The Euro qualifiers are going on, and why would you want to take basically friendly matches and kind of possibly interrupt some players from preparing for qualifiers for the Euros, which are very important. We do know the squad has been named, and players like Beth, Mead, Lynn Williamson, Blackstenius, they are actually, I think they're not going, so they're not traveling because they are preparing for the qualifiers. But players like Jaedyn McCabe and players like Alessia, Russo are actually traveling down to Australia for the matches, and they're getting ready for Euros. I mean, I'm sure there's others, but those are the ones that kind of stick out. Jaedyn McCabe and Alessia Russo, because they're getting ready for the qualifiers. And even Sarina Wiegman said, I believe in March, she said she really didn't want any her Lionesses to go down to Australia. She said, her concern is for her players to play in the matches for her team, which is the Lionesses. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Alessia is going down, Alessia is such a big piece of the Lionesses puzzle, that going down to Australia, that's a big thing. It says right here, is Russo, okay, then somebody says, is Russo not playing in the Euro qualifiers then? I swear Sarina said she didn't want any of the England girls going to Australia. Also, Katie M, Vic, Catherine, and Frida, they also have Euro qualifiers. Yeah, so a couple other names. So they're basically saying those qualifiers are important. Going all the way to Australia, 48 hours of travel is hard on the body, even with first class, even with reclining seats, even with all that. Being in a pressurized cabin in an airplane for that long is hard on your body, your ears. Then someone goes, as expected, the England and Sweden players, other than Russo, were probably not permitted to come, as the next round of Euro 2025 qualifiers are on the 31st of May. Why choose this date? It conflicts with other schedules. And that just goes back to what everyone has been saying about scheduling. These players are overworked. Injuries happen because they're overworked, and it is scary to think that the players' best interests aren't in mind sometimes. Actually, we didn't read it, but I did see a comment of maybe Jonas didn't like Viv because Viv was very vocal in standing up about scheduling being wrong, and she really stuck up for herself. And sometimes when you're the loudest person about injustices, you are the one who pays the price.
We've seen it plenty of times before.
A lot of people are, it just says here, I found the comment, Viv has been very vocal about overscheduling and stress on players and improvements needed in the sport. I don't know that this is a direct bearing on the Arsenal letting her go, but anyone who's worked for a while knows that the person who speaks on behalf of the fellow workers is often viewed as the troublemaker by management, which is completely true. So I did see that. But then there is one player, Jaedyn McCabe, who they asked the Irish coach, they said, Katie's going all the way to Australia, and you guys have Euro qualifiers, and her coach for the Irish team was asked. Eileen Gleeson, she was asked.
So she said, she's in good form, she's fit, she's rested. We've planned for it. Eileen Gleeson responds to questions about Jaedyn McCabe's journey to Australia with Arsenal ahead of Ireland's Euro 2025 qualifier versus Sweden.
Eileen was asked, she basically said, we prepared for it, we planned for it, and arguably, Jaedyn McCabe is the most important player on that Irish squad. And Eileen said, we've planned for it. But also, I think obviously Katie has an extra reason to want to go to Australia because of Caitlin. And, she probably wants to see Caitlin's family and everything. They're not going to Caitlin's hometown or anything, but just you want to be where your partner is. But then, but also that talks about how hard it is for Australian players to be able to play in the league in Europe or America for that matter, because travel is so extreme for Australian players. And it is, but I did see the argument where it's their choice. They can choose to play, but obviously if you're not playing in a big league, maybe your marketability, you know, if Sam Kerr just stays in Australia, she's not going to be the #1 player in the world. You have to go to the big market. So it is hard on Australians, but there's hardships for a lot of different players for a lot of different reasons. Australians do have a lot working against them in that respect. But then again, the scheduling between Champions League and the regular season for their leagues, whatever league you come from, is crazy too. You know, the scheduling is just wild. So what does everyone think? We covered a lot, but Viv was not happy at Arsenal. Sounds like Jonas has some rage going on, alleged rage going on. And I can't imagine Viv wanting to play there, though. That's the one thing I still can't figure out. She wanted to play there, but no, I couldn't imagine her wanting to play with Jonas. Also, Viv and Beth. Could Viv go to Chelsea? I mean, why the heck not?
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. Or Tottenham, or even West Ham. Why not? You need to be by your love. Also, U.S. Women's National Team roster. It's kind of wild. It is kind of interesting to see what will happen for the Olympics, because USA needs to win something again, a big tournament. We need to win a big tournament. Also, the Arsenal players going to Australia. I think it's very fun, but I think it is very stressful on the players. But the players know their bodies as well. But I just don't want to see anyone get hurt. That is the major thing, you know. Alessia, don't get hurt. Katie McCabe, don't get hurt. Anyone, don't get hurt.
I know. Everyone needs to stay healthy, so please stay healthy.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't go too full on either. Questions, comments down below. What does everyone think? And yeah, have a great night. Bye.